Thank you so much for the support, guys. And this is my website, and this website link will be given to you in my description box. So here you can just go through my website so that you can get the particular videos of MFCS or whatever the videos I have published. You can get it from here. And in case if you have any queries, you can just click on let's chat and you can just say hi. And if you have any suggestions or if you have any queries, you can just put it here so that I can receive those messages and can reply you back within very few minutes. Okay, so this is a software. Hi guys, in the previous video we have learned about set theory and its subtopics, and in today's video we gonna learn about relations and the subtopics of relations up to here. Okay, so please concentrate. It is very easy, but the thing matters is your concentration. Okay, so let's get started with relation. Coming to relation, what is a relation? Any set of ordered pairs defines a binary relation. So this is an ordered pair which is defining a relation. Okay, so binary relations represent relationships between the elements of two sets. I hope you have already have an idea about sets, and the set contains elements. The relationship between elements of two sets can be represented by the binary relations. Okay, let us take this line to get a better understanding. Suppose we are taking capital R as a relation which is between the ordered pairs x comma y. Okay, so this can be represented as x capital R y, where capital R denotes the relation and xy is a particular ordered pair. Coming to the example, here we are taking a relation greater than, which is denoted as the symbol, right, as you know, and here we are taking this relation for real numbers. So like 1 greater than 3, which is false, 3 greater than 5, which is true, right? So this is a relation we are taking, and where this x and y both belongs to this greater than. Okay, so this can be read as greater than equals to x comma y, where x and y are real numbers and x greater than y. So in this way we represent a relation. Now coming to domain and range, it is the very easy thing. Don't get deviated by names. Okay, then directly going with the explanation, first we can take the example. Okay, so coming to this example, s equals to 1 comma 2 ordered pair 3 comma 4 and a comma t. Domain is the first element of this ordered pair, that is 1, 3 and a. So these are the domains. What is range? The second element of the ordered pair, which is 2, 4 and t. That is what we have discussed in the definition. See, let S be a binary relation. We are taking this S as a binary relation and set of all first elements of the ordered pair. So first elements of the ordered pair is 1, 3 and a. So these are called domains, and it is denoted by D or D of, in brackets we'll write the particular binary relation. So D of S equals to X, where there is Y and X comma Y belongs to S. And range, it is the set of all second elements of the ordered pair, that is 2, 4 and t. Got it? Coming to properties of binary relations, there are 5 properties. First one is reflexive relation. What is reflexive relation? A binary relation R. Suppose we are taking a relation R in a set capital X. Okay, so here a relation is included and a set is included. These can be said as reflexive only if every element, so the small x denotes the element and capital X denotes the set. Okay, so for every relation in set X is reflexive only if for every element in a set X relation X, that is for every element belongs to capital X, ordered pair should be x comma x belongs to capital R. Capital R is in the form of relation. It defines the relation. Okay, so let's take an example, less than or equal to. In less than or equal to, it is reflexive in the case of x less than or equal to x, because if you take a 10 less than or equal to 10, right, it is reflexive. When coming to less than, only less than 10 less than 10, which is false, right? So this is reflexive because it satisfies in the form of real numbers when we take the set of particular x and with a particular relation. Okay, so this is called the reflexive relation. Now coming to symmetric relation. Symmetric relation can be done only if in a given x. So I haven't repeated the same step, but here also we are taking some particular relation R and particular set x. By considering this only, we are telling about the symmetric relation also. Okay, so if when we are taking an element with some relation with y, then y relation of that x. Okay, suppose we are taking less than or equal to, right? So suppose if we take less than or equal to and we are taking two elements of the set, then y relation x for every x and y in capital X, means every element in the set. Okay, now if x comma y belongs to that particular relation, then y comma x also should belongs to that relation. This is symmetric. Okay, so we here if we interchange also, that should be belonging to that particular relation whatever we take. Okay, so here the example that satisfies the symmetry is triangle. Set of triangles in a plane is symmetric and reflexive too, but when coming to less than or equal to, it doesn't, because if you are taking 10 and 11, then we can say 10 less than or equal to 11, it is true, but 11 less than or equal to 10 is false, right? So it doesn't satisfy the symmetric relation, whereas set of triangles which are of same size or same angles can satisfy this property of symmetric relation. Okay, now coming to transitive relation. So in this relation we are taking three elements in a particular set x. So here x is a set and x, y, z are the elements. Okay, so these are the elements we are taking and this is the set it is containing. Okay, now if x relation y and y relation z, then x relation z. Okay, so it can be done as a equals to b, b equals to c, then automatically a equals to c. So in this scenario it works, right? This can be represented as if x comma y belongs to that particular relation, yz belongs to that particular relation, then x comma z also should belonging to that particular relation of whatever we take, like equals to or less than or equal to or less than. It should satisfy that property or the relation. Coming to irreflexive relation, a relation R in a set X is reflexive if for every X belongs to capital X, the ordered pair is opposite of it's like it doesn't belong to that relation. Like suppose we take reflexive, the complete opposite one is irreflexive. Okay, so the relation less than is irreflexive. Okay, because it satisfies this property. Got it? Now coming to antisymmetric relation. Coming to antisymmetric relation, here also we are taking the same thing, x and y, and here x relation y and y relation x, then x equals to y. So here if it's satisfying the particular relation of exchange, then we are saying it as x equals to y for the elements that belonging to the set, that is x comma y belongs to R and y comma x belongs to R. We are directly making it as x equals to y. This is antisymmetric. Okay, symmetric is something that ends up to here, but here it is saying the both elements should be equal if it satisfies this. Relation of equality. So equality satisfies both the symmetric and anti-symmetric too. Now coming to the next topic, relation matrix. So we can learn about this now. A relation R from a finite set A to finite set B can be represented by a matrix called capital R. We can take this capital A set and capital B set, and these two can be represented by a matrix called capital R. So here we are taking the elements as m elements in A and n elements in B, and R will be the relation from A set to B set. Then this is the representation, that is mr equals to r of ij. Okay, so rij will be in the form of 1 or 0. Okay, so here in the matrix we will not have any further elements or numbers. We'll have only 1 or 0 according to the relation between set A and set B. Okay, so coming to the properties of relation matrix. The properties are: if a relation is reflexive, then all the diagonal entries must be 1. This is the diagonal entries, right? So all the diagonal entries will be 1. Okay, because if it is reflexive. Okay, next, coming to the second point, if relation is symmetric, then relation matrix is symmetric. Rij equals to Rji. That means if it is exchanged also, it will be same. The matrix will be same. Okay, it's like a transpose of a matrix. Okay, coming to the third one, if a relation is antisymmetric, then its matrix is such that if Rij equals to 1, then Rji equals to 0 for I not equals to j. I not equals to j means I and j are rows and columns. Okay, so according to that it works. Coming to graph of a relation. Graph, you know it, right? It's a representation of particular relation in the form of graph. Okay, so a relation defined in a finite set can be also represented pictorially. Okay, with the help of graph. Let R be a relation in a finite set. Then elements of A are represented by points. So the elements can be represented by points or circles. These termed as nodes. Okay, so the elements will be represented as nodes in a graph. These nodes are called vertices. If ai, aj belongs to that particular relation, then we will connect it. Okay, nodes ai and aj by means of an arrow, and put an arrow on them in the direction. So from which point to which point, like which element to that particular element relation we gonna take. So that particular one is called as edge. Let me show you. Here this is a node. Okay, these A and B are representing the nodes, and this line representing with the arrow is called as an edge. Okay, next, if all the nodes corresponding to the ordered pairs in R are connected by arcs with proper arrows, then we get a graph theta in the relation R. Okay, note, if AI relation AJ and AJ relation AI, then we draw two arcs between AI and AJ pointing in both the directions. Suppose this will be one direction and this will be one direction between the nodes. Okay, so ignore my drawing because I'm drawing with a mouse. Okay, so this will be the case if there are two arcs to be drawn. Okay, next, another note, if AI relation AJ, then we get an arc which starts from the node and returns, here AI, so which is pointing to the same node itself. So this is the cause. Okay, so this one will be returning to the same node again. Okay, which is termed as loop. Okay, so this is one type where there are two nodes and this is the edge pointing the arrow where A is having some relation with B, and here it is including three nodes, A, B, C nodes, and representing the relation between them. And these are the few properties which says if it is reflexive there will be no loop. If the relation is symmetric, then one node is connected to another and there must be a return. If it is anti-symmetric, then no direct paths. See, there are no direct, but here if it is transitive there are direct paths, right? For this one node there are two arrows pointing. So this is about graph. Next topic is operations on relations. It is same or similar to operations on sets. Okay, coming to the first operation, that is union of relations. Here it is represented as R union S, where R is one relation and S is another relation. Okay, so R union S equals to A comma B, where A relation B or A another relation B. Okay, so where A belongs to capital A and B belongs to capital B. Here A is an element in a set A, B is an element in set B. Here capital R and capital S are two different relations. Okay, so suppose let us take an example, union of relations is less than and is equals to. So is equals to is one type of relation, is less than is another type of relation, right? So these two we are making it a union on a set of integers. Then it will be is less than or equal to, right? So this is one relation or this relation. So is less than or equal to. By matrices representation, we can say MR equals to AIJ, MS equals to BIJ. Then when we are making a union of MR and MS, it is represented by plus, okay, and equals to Aij plus Bij. So here this includes as we have already discussed that matrices are represented either by 0 or 1s, right? So within these two numerics we will represent the matrix form. So we have performed the particular union between 0 and 1, and here these are the outputs that we have got. Next operation is intersection of relations. Here we are taking two different relations R and S. So R intersection S relation equals to A comma B, where A RB and A SB. Okay, so let R and S be relations, is a friend of and is a work colleague of, defined on a set of people A. Okay, so suppose when we are making an intersection, it will be combined as is a friend of and work colleague of. Like Ram is a friend and work colleague of Sita. Got it? So this is the particular thing, like he is also a friend and he is also a work colleague. So this is an example of intersection of relations. So this is the representation of intersection, and here the intersection we do multiplication. For union we do addition. Okay. Next operation is difference of relations. The difference of two relations, which means if R relation difference S relation, then equals to A comma B, where A relation B but not ASB. If S is first, then ASB will be there but not ARB. So this is the difference of relations. Okay, so let us take a quick example of B set and A set, and we are taking two relations, relation R and relation S, with these examples. So R relation S difference will be the sets which are in R but not belonging to S. Here A1 is belonging to S also, right, and D1 also. So the difference will be B comma 2 and C comma 3. When coming to S difference R, the elements that are not belonging to R, which means A should be eliminated and D also should be eliminated. So we have B comma 1 and C comma 1. Why we are eliminating this? Because these are already the sets which are already present in relation R set. Got it? So this is the way we perform difference of relations. Coming to the next operation, that is symmetric difference of relations. The symmetric difference is denoted as triangle. Okay, so relation R triangle, relation S equals to R difference S union S difference R. So these are the two different formulas that we can perform. Like these two formulas we can apply to get the symmetric difference. If you are taking an example of set A and set B and performing the R and S, so first we have to find out R union S and R intersection S, and we have to find the difference between these two outputs, right? Then we'll get the exact required difference or the symmetric difference. Got it? So first we have done the R union S. R union S includes the elements both in R and S without repeating. R intersection S, which means the common A comma 1 and D comma 1 are common, right? So these will be the intersection. And when coming to the difference of R union S and R intersection S, which means the elements that are in R union S but not in R intersection S. So A comma 1 and these two are similar, so these two can't be considered, right? So the remaining elements are B comma 1, B comma 2, C comma 1 and C comma 3. So this is the output finally for symmetric difference of relations. Next operation is complement of a binary relation. So if you are taking a relation R between two sets A and B, then the complement of R over A and B will be A comma B, not A R B. Okay, let us take A set and B set, and if this is the one performed of relation between A set and B set, then the complement is which is not in R. So 1 comma 1 is something that is missing in R, and 2 comma 1 which is missing in R. So the exact opposite, which are not present in R, is the complement of R. The last final operation is converse of a binary relation. Suppose we are taking a relation R on both the sets A and B, then the transpose of R is by switching the order of elements. Let me make this clear. Suppose we are taking A comma B, then the transpose will be B comma A. Okay, suppose we are taking 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3 and 1 comma 4, the transpose will be exchanging, like replacing oppositely by the order, switching the order. So here we have switched the 2 comma 1 and 3 comma 1 and 4 comma 1. Similarly it applies for the matrices also. Okay, when we take this matrix, 1 0 1 is replaced here, 1 0 1 1 is replaced here. Here the columns will be rows and rows will be columns. Next, empty relation. Empty relation is where a relation is empty. Okay, where it is nothing, where it doesn't hold any set or any elements in it. Universal relation, which is the Cartesian product of both the sets, which includes all the elements that are there. Identity relation, which is of A comma A, which is the reflexive, we can say, for all that belongs to a particular set. Next topic is partition and covering of a set. Coming to covering of a set, what we can say is, let S be a given set. So here we are considering S as a set, and A equals to A1, A2, so on An, where each AI equals to I equals to some particular numbers is a subset of S. So suppose if you take S equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, so on 10, A equals to 1 to 5 set, then this is the subset, right? So this is the subset of S, and union of AI equals to S. So the complete union of including all the elements of A equals to S. Then set A is called covering of S, and sets are called covers. So as it is a subset, it is called the covering of a set. These elements inside the subset are called covers. Okay, let us take a quick example. S equals to A comma B. The collection of subsets are these, right? So these are the some particular subsets we have got. So here A1, A3, A4, A5, A6 are covering, because if you are taking A1 subset, if you are making it a union, then you have A, B, C. A2 has only A and C, which is not a covering. A3, A, B, C, it has A4, A, B, C, A5, A, B, C, and again when coming to A6, it is also having A, B, C. So these are called covering, and A2 is not at all a covering because it doesn't contain all the elements of S. Next, coming to the partition. Partition of a set, it is the collection of disjoint non-empty subsets of S. It is the collection of non-empty subsets that have S as their union. Let S be a given set. Okay, suppose we are taking S as a given set and A is the subset, okay, where each AI, and these are the elements of each and every subset of S. These are the three conditions that it must satisfy to make it as a partition of a set, where AI not equals to J for each I, AI intersection AJ less than J, and union of AI equals to S. If it satisfies all these properties, then A is called as the partition of S. So partition is different thing and covering is different thing. Okay, and we have very few concepts left behind. Let's make it fast. Okay, so now coming to transitive closure. Transitive closure of a relation on a set A is the smallest transitive relation on A containing R. So transitive closure is considered as the smallest transitive. Okay, it is more complex than reflexive or symmetric closures. To describe how to construct transitive closures, two new things you have to know, that is paths and another one is connectivity relation. So to know much about transitive closure, you need to know about these concepts first. So what are paths? Paths are something, suppose we are taking a relation R on a set A and we are considering two elements A comma B, which are belonging to the set A. Then a path from A to B of length n is the sequence of ordered pairs. So here path is something that is between one element to another element with some particular length, that can be 1 or 2 or anything, in a sequence of ordered pairs like this. Okay, so this is the form of paths we will, and in a relation where n is non-negative. So here it is completely a non-negative thing up to where we do. Okay, coming to the theorem, if R is a relation on a set A and A belongs to capital A and B belongs to capital A set, then there is a path of length n from A to B if and only if A comma B belongs to that particular relation and where n is the positive integer. Okay, so here it is very easy. Path is something that is between two elements in a particular set which is belonging to that particular relation applied on that set, and that power should be a positive integer. That's it. Coming to connectivity relation, it is denoted by R star, which is consists of all ordered pairs A comma B such that there is a path in R from A to B. It ensures that there is a path from A to B, and it is the union of all the sets. Like until we get the particular connectivity relation, it repeats till the end. Suppose we are taking this relation of 1, 2, 2, 2 and all within a particular set where 1, 2, 3 are present. R is not transitive because 1, 2 belongs to R, 2, 3 belongs, but 1, 3 doesn't belongs to R, right? So within this set there is no 1, 3. So we need to make it find out, and we have to insert this 1, 3 to make it a transitive one. Okay, so by this we will introduce 1, 3 to make it a complete transitive. So this is how path and connectivity relation works. This is the clear graph which represents the complete one, that is 1 to 2, 2 to 2 and 2 to 3, 3 to 3 and 1 to 3. So this is the graph that represents the complete connection of paths and connectivity relation. And the transitive closure can also be represented in the form of matrix, and here we are taking this because just check here carefully, it is 1 comma 2, right? So 1 2, so first row second column, second row second column, so second row second column, this is the one, right? Next second row third column, 1, third row third column. So whatever we have, those we are making it as 1, and whichever the subsets we don't have, whichever the ordered pairs we don't have, we are making it as 0. Now we are making it as r power star equals to, this is a connectivity relation we are performing here. So this is here, and here we are having 3 rows and 3 columns. That's the reason we are making up to 3. Got it? Then now coming to this mr square. First we have already mr, right? So now we have to find mr square, that is the multiplication of mr into mr. So we will perform this multiplication. I really hope that you have a quick idea about the matrix multiplication, right? So this row into this column, again this row into this column, we have to multiply each row with every column, and we will perform this multiplication. We'll get the result. Again we'll perform it for mr3 also, but here mr3 and mr2 is same. The solution of mr2 and mr3 is same. That's the reason here we are avoiding r3, because both have the same thing, right? Now we perform the union. Union means addition, intersection means multiplication. Okay, now we are making the union, which is plus 0 plus 0 equals to 0, 1 plus 1 1. Here we are not performing the addition as 1 plus 1 equals to 2, not that. We are performing bitwise addition, which means 1 plus 1 equals to 1, 0 plus 1 equals to 1, 1 plus 0 equals to 1, where only 0 plus 0 equals to 0. By this form we got this solution where it also includes 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3. This is the new thing that we got when we have done with connectivity relation. Okay, so this is matrix form represented for transitive closure. Now coming to equivalence relation. Equivalence relation is in a relation R of a set A is equivalence only if it satisfies that if a relation is reflexive, symmetric and transitive. If a relation satisfies all these conditions of reflexive, symmetric and transitive, then we can say that it is an equivalence relation. Okay, so it should satisfy reflexive, symmetric and transitive. So for our, we can make it as RST, right? So RST, if it satisfies RST, then it is an equivalence relation. Let us take an example where we are taking a relation and we are taking a set X, and a relation where xy and x minus y should be divisible by 3. If this satisfies both reflexive, symmetric and transitive, then obviously it is an equivalence. Okay. Coming to partial ordering relations, a binary relation R in a set P is called partial ordering relations if R is reflexive, antisymmetric and transitive. So the difference between them is, coming to equivalence, it should be reflexive, symmetric and transitive. Coming to partial ordering relations, it should be reflexive, transitive. The difference is symmetric and antisymmetric. And it is denoted by the symbol, and it is called as poset. Poset means partial ordered set, and this is the representation of ordered pair, and this is the representation of partial ordering. Coming to Hasse diagram, Hasse diagram is something that is the representation for poset, partial ordered set, which doesn't have any loops and are implied by transitivity. Suppose here we are taking a quick set of ABC, and this is the relation for that set A comma A. It is having a loop. A comma B, it is redirected here. A comma C, B comma B, there is a loop. B comma C, there is a H, and C comma C, there is a loop, right? So this is the diagram we have. Normally it is called digraph, the normal graph. Then coming to Hasse diagram, it is represented this. So here the loops are removed and only whatever was there is represented. That is A to B and B to C is the Hasse diagram. Let us take a quick example of it. Let A be a given finite set and R of A is a power set. Let I be the subset relations on elements of R of A. Now we are taking Hasse diagram of R of A, which is a power set, and I is the subset relation for a set A equals to ABC. So this is the Hasse diagram we are representing. Okay, so A, B, C, and we are making it a subsets. For each subset we are making a quick connection of it. Got it? So this is the complete video of MFCS Unit 2 Part 2. Okay, the next video will be on functions. Okay, up to now we have discussed for relations and set theory. In case if you miss set theory, the link will be in the description box. Thank you. Have a good day. Download some particular PDF, like whatever the PDF that I discuss in this videos will be provided to you by here. So you can just click on MFCS Unit 1 Part 2, and here you can see the download symbol. So from here, if you click on download, it will be automatically downloaded. Okay, so this is the way you can check or you can download the PDF, and you can also check my videos, like the particular unit video link and the PDF link also will be given to you, so that you can just check it out. And if you have any queries, please let me know. I will be very happy to reply back. Okay, thank you.